The sun was setting behind the low hills of Arham's village, painting the sky in shades of gold and orange. A warm breeze carried the scent of wheat from the fields, but Arham didn't notice it. He sat on the cracked steps outside his mud house, staring at the screen of his cheap smartphone. His thumb scrolled endlessly over photos of rich boys in expensive clothes, videos of teenagers driving sports cars, and quotes about living your best life. "Why not me?" he muttered under his breath. Inside the house, his mother's bangles jingled as she kneaded dough for dinner. His father, a farmer with calloused hands, coughed as he returned from the fields. Yet even with all their effort, the family barely made enough to survive. Arham hated this life. "Arham," his mother called, "bring water from the well before it gets dark." "Later," he replied curtly, eyes still glued to his screen. "You always say later," she scolded. "Dreams don't fill your stomach, son. Work does." But Arham wasn't listening. His mind was far away, imagining himself in a sharp black suit, stepping out of a gleaming car while cameras flashed. Work? He thought bitterly. People get rich on YouTube in weeks. People sell apps and become billionaires in months. Why should I waste years plowing fields? He opened a video titled, "How to Earn $10,000 in 10 Days." A man with slick hair and a golden watch spoke confidently. Asterisk. "Success is easy if you know the secret. Sign up for my program and watch the money flow." Arham's eyes widened. $10,000? That was more than his father made in 5 years. For the first time all day, he smiled. "This is it," he whispered. "I don't need to be like them. I'll be smarter. I'll find the shortcut. I'll be rich before my next birthday." He didn't notice his father standing silently behind him. "Arham," the old man said in a tired voice, "I planted mango trees 20 years ago. Today they feed us. Nothing good grows overnight, son." Arham glanced back but didn't reply. "Think about it," his father added before walking inside. But Arham wasn't thinking about mango trees or patience. His finger hovered over the sign-up button on the video. He clicked it, and so began Arham's journey. A journey that would teach him that shortcuts often lead to the longest, hardest roads. Arham barely slept that night. His mind raced with images of luxury cars, giant houses, and people cheering his name. The glowing words from the video echoed in his head like a promise from the universe. Success is easy if you know the secret. As soon as the rooster crowed the next morning, he grabbed his phone and slipped out of the house quietly. He didn't want his father asking where he was going so early. The village internet cafe was just a small room with 4 old computers, their keyboards sticky from years of use. The owner, a sleepy man in his 40s, looked up as Arham walked in. "You again?" he grumbled. "Don't you kids ever get tired of wasting money on this internet?" "It's not wasting, Uncle. It's investing," Arham replied with a smirk, sliding a few coins across the counter. The man shook his head. "HMPH. Dream big. But don't forget to work hard, boy." Arham ignored him. He sat at a computer, his heart pounding as he opened the website from last night. Bright colors flashed across the screen. Make $10,000 in 10 days? Only $50 to start. Limited offer. He scrolled down to see glowing testimonials. "I became rich in a week. Dashes Sarah T. This program changed my life. Junaid R." Arham bit his lip. He only had 8,000 rupees in savings, money he had earned over 2 years helping in the fields and tutoring younger kids. It wasn't enough to change his life. But this program could be. $50 is nothing compared to what I'll earn, he thought. I'll repay my parents and show everyone in this village what I'm worth. He entered his details. Name, Arham Ali. Email, arham.success2025@gmail.com. Card number. His hand trembled as he clicked. Pay now. A spinning circle appeared. Then a message popped up. Congratulations, you're enrolled in the 10-day success challenge. Check your email for your first step. Arham exhaled deeply, his chest swelling with excitement. This is it. I'm on my way to greatness. For the next 2 hours, he hunched over the screen, going through the training videos sent to his email. The man in the videos spoke confidently. Day 1. Convince 3 people to join the program. You'll earn a commission from each one. The more people you bring, the faster you get rich. Arham frowned. Wait, isn't this just bringing more people? But the man's voice was persuasive. Asterisk. This is not a scam. This is a network of winners helping each other succeed. That afternoon, Arham went to his best friend Faraz. Bro, this is our chance, Arham said eagerly. You just need to join with $50, and then you'll earn more as others join under you. Trust me, this works. Faraz raised an eyebrow. Sounds like a pyramid scheme. Didn't you hear about that boy in the next town who lost all his money? This is different, Arham insisted. This is global. People are making thousands every week. Faraz shook his head. Be careful, Arham. Easy money is dangerous. Arham felt irritation rise in his chest. He doesn't understand. No one in this village understands ambition. For the next few days, Arham messaged relatives, classmates, and even strangers online, begging them to join the program. Most ignored him. Some laughed. One uncle replied angrily, "Are you trying to scam us, boy?" On day 5, Arham logged into his account. He froze. Account suspended. Violation of terms. Contact support. support@10daysuccess.com. He clicked the support link. It didn't work. He tried the website. It was gone. Arham's stomach twisted into a knot. Wait, no, he shouted. His voice cracked. They said this was real. They promised. But deep down, he knew the truth. His $50 was gone, and with it, his 2 years of savings. That evening, Arham sat outside their house, staring blankly at the dirt road. His father came home carrying a sack of grain on his tired shoulders. You look pale, his father said gently. What happened? Arham opened his mouth to speak but couldn't. His father sat beside him silently. After a long pause, he said, Quick money leaves quicker than it comes, son. There's no shortcut for the sun to rise. It takes its time. Arham lowered his head. His dream of instant success was already beginning to crumble. The night felt colder than usual. The village lay in silence except for the occasional barking of stray dogs. Arham sat on the edge of his bed staring at his phone's dark screen. His $50 was gone, swallowed by a scam, and with it, his confidence. His father's words from earlier still echoed in his mind. Quick money leaves quicker than it comes. But a small voice inside him refused to accept defeat. No, this isn't the end. There has to be another way. Maybe I just scrolled through his inbox again. Nothing. No reply from the program's support team. His savings were gone. The next day, Arham didn't go to the fields to help his father. Instead, he wandered aimlessly along the dusty road leading out of the village. The golden wheat swayed gently in the breeze. But to him, it felt like the fields were mocking him with their slow, steady growth. Years to grow, years to earn, years to succeed. I don't have years, asterisk, he muttered under his breath. As he reached a bend in the road, a black car, a rare sight in his village, slowed to a stop beside him. The window rolled down, and a man in his late 20s leaned out. He wore sunglasses, even though the sun was hidden behind clouds, and his hair was neatly slicked back. You look troubled, boy, the man said, his voice smooth like warm honey. Lost in your thoughts? Arham hesitated. Do I know you? The man smiled faintly. Not yet. But I know you. You're Arham, the boy who wants more from life than this dusty little village can give. Arham blinked in surprise. How do you know my name? The man chuckled. I know many things. Like how you lost money in an online scheme recently. Arham's eyes widened. Who are you? Did someone send you? The man waved his hand dismissively. No one sent me. I help boys like you, smart ones who are tired of waiting for success to come crawling. Arham's heartbeat quickened. Could this be my chance? What do you mean? He asked cautiously. The man leaned closer, lowering his sunglasses to reveal sharp, piercing eyes. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who wait for the fruit to ripen, and those who climb the tree and take it. I can show you how to climb. Arham swallowed hard. How? The man tapped the steering wheel. There's work in the city, not ordinary work. Quick, easy money, if you're brave enough. Something about the man's tone sent a shiver down Arham's spine. But then he thought of his father's wrinkled hands, his mother's faded clothes, and his classmates laughing at his poverty. How much can I make? Arham asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The man smiled again. As much as you want, but remember, Everything comes at a price. What price? You'll see, the man replied cryptically. Meet me here tomorrow at noon if you're ready. Before Arham could say more, the car door clicked shut, and the vehicle sped off, leaving a trail of dust behind. That night, Arham couldn't sleep. His mind was a battlefield. This could be dangerous, he thought, but it could also change my life. At dawn, he stared at the mango trees outside, their branches heavy with unripe fruit. His father's words floated back to him. Nothing good grows overnight, son. Arham clenched his fists. I don't want to wait for the fruit anymore. I want it now. And with that thought, he made his decision. The sun blazed overhead as Arham waited by the dusty road, clutching a small bag with a few clothes and his phone charger. His heart raced like a drum in his chest. Am I doing the right thing? He wondered, staring at the mango trees swaying gently in the wind. The scent of ripe fruit mixed with the earthy smell of tilled soil. He could still hear his father's voice from breakfast. Where are you going, Arham? Just to meet a friend, Baba, he had lied. His father had only nodded, though his eyes lingered on Arham for a moment longer than usual, as if he knew something was wrong. The sound of an approaching engine snapped Arham out of his thoughts. The black car slowed to a stop in front of him. The stranger from yesterday pushed open the passenger door. You came, the man said with a knowing smile. I knew you had courage. Arham hesitated for a moment, glancing back at the distant outline of his house. Then he gritted his teeth and climbed in. Where are we going? He asked nervously. To opportunity, the man replied, starting the engine. And to a life you've only dreamed about. As the car sped down the highway, the fields gave way to crowded streets and tall buildings. Arham pressed his face to the window, his eyes wide. It was his first time in the city. Buses groaned as they passed, their sides plastered with advertisements. Vendors shouted over the honking traffic. People rushed past, all with places to go and lives to live. This is where real men are made, the stranger said. Forget your sleepy little village. Out here you can make more in a week than your father makes in a year. Arham felt his stomach twist at the mention of his father. Don't think about him, he told himself. This is for them too. Once I'm rich, I'll take care of them. The car pulled into a narrow alleyway lined with tall, crumbling buildings. The stranger parked in front of a metal gate and led Arham into a dimly lit room. Several young men sat inside, all around Arham's age. Some counted wads of cash. Others were on phones, speaking in low voices. A man with a thick beard sat behind a wooden desk, his eyes sharp as a hawk's. So this is the boy? The man asked, eyeing Arham from head to toe. Yes, sir, the stranger replied. Fresh from the village, hungry for success. The man leaned forward. Do you want to make money, boy? Yes, Arham said firmly. Do you want it fast? Yes. The man's lips curled into a thin smile. Good. Then listen carefully. We run deliveries. No questions, no mistakes, and no fear. You'll be paid well. Very well. Deliveries? Arham asked. What kind of deliveries? The man's smile didn't reach his eyes. The kind that rich people want but don't like to touch themselves. You'll learn soon enough. Arham swallowed hard. Something about the man's tone made his palms sweat. Do I have a choice? He asked. You had a choice when you got in that car, the man said coldly. You're here now. So you work. That night, Arham lay on a thin mattress in a cramped room above the office. The sounds of the city below, the honking cars, the shouting vendors, felt like a different universe from his quiet village. He stared at the ceiling, his mind racing. This isn't what I imagined, but I can't go back now, not empty-handed. His phone buzzed. It was a text from his mother. Dinner is ready, Beta. Your father saved your favorite mangoes for you. Arham turned off the phone and closed his eyes. Tomorrow he would begin his first delivery. And unknowingly, he had already taken the first step into a trap that would be far harder to escape than he could imagine. Arham woke up to the sound of shouting in the alley outside. The air smelled of damp concrete and frying oil from a nearby stall. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then it all came rushing back. The black car, the mysterious stranger, and the bearded man behind the desk. This was not his village. And there was no turning back. The stranger, whose name Arham learned was Rashid, knocked on the door and tossed him a brown paper bag. Your first job, Rashid said. Simple. Deliver this to the man at the corner of Jinnah Market, next to the old bookshop. He'll give you the code word. How ripe are the mangoes? You reply, sweet and golden. That's it. Arham clutched the bag nervously. It felt heavier than it looked. What's in here? He asked. Rashid's smile was cold. Not your concern. You're just the delivery boy. Do your part, get paid, and don't ask questions. Arham stepped out into the street, the city already buzzing with life. Rickshaws rattled by, street vendors hawked their wares, and people pushed past him without a glance. He kept his head down, clutching the bag tightly. His palms were sweaty, and his heart thumped like a drum. It's just a delivery, he told himself. In and out. Easy money. When he reached Jinnah Market, the air was thick with the smell of spices and grilled meat. Stalls lined the road, their owners shouting over each other. By the old bookshop, a man in a leather jacket leaned against the wall, smoking. He glanced up as Arham approached. How ripe are the mangoes? The man asked in a low voice. Sweet and golden, Arham replied, his throat dry. The man smirked. Good boy, hand it over. Arham hesitated for a split second before passing the bag. The man tucked it under his arm and handed Arham a small envelope. You're cut, he said. And remember, you didn't see me, I didn't see you. On the way back, Arham's fingers trembled as he opened the envelope. Inside was a thick wad of cash, more than his father made in 2 months. His eyes widened. So much for one delivery? For a moment, the fear and doubt melted away, replaced by a rush of excitement. Maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe this is my way out. But as he turned the corner to head back, he froze. 2 policemen stood near the alley entrance, questioning a street vendor. One of them glanced in Arham's direction. Arham felt his legs turn to lead. What if they stop me? What if they search me? The memory of the man's cold eyes and Rashid's warning echoed in his mind. Asterisk, no questions. No mistakes. No fear. Forcing himself to walk casually, Arham slipped past the officers and disappeared into the alley. Back at the building, Rashid took the envelope from Arham, counted out a portion of the cash and handed it back. Not bad for your first day, Rashid said. See? Fast money. Just like you wanted. Arham stared at the crisp bills in his hand. It felt unreal. But deep in his chest, under the thrill of holding so much money, a tiny knot of unease had begun to form. That night, as he lay on the hard mattress, Arham stared at the ceiling fan spinning lazily above him. The sound of the city outside seemed louder somehow, more chaotic. He pulled out his phone and saw a missed call from his mother. Arham, where are you? Your father is worried. He didn't call back. Instead, he looked at the cash on the floor beside him. This is only the beginning, he told himself. Once I have enough, I'll leave this life and go home. Then they'll see I was right. But he didn't know then that enough never comes when chasing easy money. The next morning, Arham woke to Rashid shaking his shoulder. Get up, Rashid said. Boss wants to see you. Arham rubbed his eyes, still half asleep. Why? Did I do something wrong? Rashid didn't answer. He tossed Arham a clean shirt. Change. And don't keep him waiting. Downstairs, the bearded man, Tariq, sat behind his desk, flipping through a ledger. The room smelled faintly of cigarette smoke and sweat. You did well yesterday, Tariq said without looking up. Not every boy handles his first job calmly. You didn't panic. That's good. Thank you, Arham replied cautiously. But now comes something bigger. Tariq shut the ledger and fixed his piercing gaze on Arham. There's a package that needs to go across town. Higher stakes. Higher reward. Arham shifted uncomfortably. What's in the package? Didn't I tell you before? Tariq said sharply. You don't ask questions. You deliver. You get paid. Yes, sir, Arham murmured, looking down. Rashid handed Arham a small black backpack. This isn't like yesterday. Keep your head down. Don't draw attention. And whatever happens, don't open the bag. Why? Because curiosity kills boys like you. The city seemed louder today. The sun beat down hard on the asphalt, and the air was thick with exhaust fumes. Arham wove through the crowded streets, clutching the backpack tightly. Every honk, every police siren made his pulse quicken. I shouldn't be here, a small voice whispered in his head. What if I get caught? What if the police stop me? But louder than that was another voice. Asterisk. One more job. Just one more. Then you'll have enough to leave. When he reached the meeting point, a crumbling apartment block at the edge of the city, Arham hesitated. The instructions were clear. Knock 3 times, wait for the door to open, hand over the bag. Simple. But as he raised his hand to knock, a scream echoed from inside the building. Arham froze. Moments later, the door flew open, and 2 men rushed out, one clutching a pistol, the other holding a bulging sack. They nearly collided with Arham. What the? Who's this kid? One of them barked. Arham stammered. I'm here to deliver. Go! The man with the pistol hissed. Police are on their way. Get out before you drag us all down. Arham's heart slammed against his ribs as he turned and ran. He darted down alleys, his feet pounding against the pavement. Behind him he heard sirens wailing. They're not after me, he told himself desperately. They're after them. They're after them. But deep down, he knew the truth. In this world, it didn't matter who you were. When trouble came, it swallowed everyone in its path. When he finally staggered back into Tariq's office, Arham collapsed onto a chair, gasping for breath. You're lucky, Rashid said, snatching the backpack from him. A few minutes later, and you'd be in handcuffs. I didn't sign up for this, Arham said hoarsely. I just wanted to make money, not what? Tariq interrupted coldly. Not take risks. You wanted fast success, didn't you? You think it comes without danger? Arham's mouth went dry. That night, as he lay on the mattress staring at the flickering bulb above him, Arham felt the walls closing in. He pulled out the cash from his first job and stared at it. It didn't excite him anymore. It felt heavy, like a chain around his neck. He thought of his parents again. His mother's soft voice, asterisk, dreams don't fill your stomach, son. Work does. His father's patient hands planting mango trees. Nothing good grows overnight. For the first time, Arham wondered if he had made the biggest mistake of his life. But he was already in too deep. The streets outside Tariq's office were alive with noise, barking dogs, honking rickshaws, and vendors calling out their prices. But inside Arham's small room, there was only silence. He sat cross-legged on the thin mattress, staring at the crumpled bills in his hand. The cash felt heavier now, as if every note carried a weight he couldn't see. He remembered the gun, the screaming, and the sirens. What am I doing here? He whispered to himself. This isn't success. This is a trap. That evening, Rashid walked in with another backpack. Tomorrow, he said, you're going across the river. Bigger payout this time. Arham shook his head. I don't want to do this anymore. Rashid raised an eyebrow. What did you say? I want out, Arham said, forcing the words out despite the lump in his throat. Give me what you owe me. I'll leave and never come back. Rashid's face hardened. You think this is a hotel? You don't just pack your bag and leave when you feel like it. Arham's heart pounded. I haven't done anything wrong. I just want to go home. Rashid stepped closer until his shadow fell over Arham. Listen carefully, village boy, Rashid said in a low, menacing voice. You know too much now. You've seen faces, heard names. If you walk out, you're a risk to all of us. You don't leave unless the boss says so. Later, Arham went to Tariq himself. I'm grateful for what you've given me, Arham said carefully, keeping his voice steady. But I don't belong here. I want to go back to my family. Tariq leaned back in his chair, stroking his beard. You wanted fast money, didn't you? He said softly. And now that you've tasted it, you think you can just spit it out? That's not how this works. I won't tell anyone anything. I promise. Arham said desperately. Just pack your bag and leave when you feel like it. Arham's heart pounded. I haven't done anything wrong. I just want to go home. Rashid stepped closer until his shadow fell over Arham. Listen carefully, village boy, Rashid said in a low, menacing voice. You know too much now. You've seen faces, heard names. If you walk out, you're a risk to all of us. You don't leave unless the boss says so. Later, Arham went to Tariq himself. "I'm grateful for what you've given me," Arham said carefully, keeping his voice steady. "But I don't belong here. I want to go back to my family." Tariq leaned back in his chair, stroking his beard. "You wanted fast money, didn't you?" he said softly. "And now that you've tasted it, you think you can just spit it out? That's not how this works." "I won't tell anyone anything. I promise," Arham said desperately. Tariq's eyes turned cold. "Promises mean nothing in this world. You're in, and the only way out." He let the sentence hang in the air like a knife. Arham felt the blood drain from his face. That night, Arham sat on the floor, hugging his knees to his chest. He thought about his father's quiet strength and his mother's warm smile. He thought about the mango trees in his village, their fruit ripening slowly with the seasons. He would give anything to go back, but the walls around him felt higher now. He wasn't free. Arham didn't sleep that night. He sat with his back against the cold wall, his knees pulled up to his chest. Outside his small window, the city buzzed faintly, sirens in the distance, an occasional bark of a dog, the hum of neon lights. "I can't stay here," he whispered to himself. "If I don't leave now, I'll never leave alive." But leaving wouldn't be easy. He had seen how Rashid and Tariq operated. The other boys whispered stories late at night about what happened to those who tried to run. One boy, Hamza, had disappeared 2 months ago. No one dared to ask where he went. Still, Arham's mind was set. The next morning, Rashid came into the room holding another backpack. "You're delivering across the bridge today," he said. "After this, boss says you'll get a bonus." Arham forced himself to nod, though his palms felt clammy. "Sure, I'll do it." But deep down, he had already decided this delivery would be his last. As Rashid left, Arham pulled out his phone, hiding in the corner of the room like a hunted animal. His fingers trembled as he opened his contacts. His mother's name blinked on the screen. He hadn't called her in weeks. He hesitated. If they catch me calling home, they'll know I'm planning something. Still, he pressed call. The phone rang once, twice. Then her soft, familiar voice answered. "Arham? Is that you?" His throat tightened. "Ami." His voice cracked. "I'm okay. Don't worry." "Where are you, Beta?" "We've been so worried. Your father went to the police, but they said you probably ran away. Please come home. We don't need money. We need you." Arham felt tears sting his eyes. "I want to come home, Ami," he whispered. "But it's complicated." "Then come. Whatever it is, we'll face it together," she pleaded. "I'll try. Just don't tell anyone I called." Before she could respond, he hung up. At noon, Arham left with the backpack strapped tightly to his shoulders. Rashid's words echoed in his mind. Asterisk, don't open it. Don't be stupid. But as he walked through the crowded streets, his curiosity burned like fire. What's in here? What am I risking my life for? In a narrow alleyway, he ducked behind a dumpster and unzipped the bag. His heart stopped. Inside were small, neatly wrapped packets. White powder, heroin. Arham's stomach churned. "I'm not a delivery boy. I'm a drug mule." He zipped the bag shut, his hands shaking violently. As he neared the bridge, Arham's plan began forming. There was a bus station on the other side. If he could get there before the buyer arrived, he could disappear into the crowd, buy a ticket, and head home. He patted the wad of cash hidden in his pocket. It wasn't much, but it would be enough for the fare. "Just walk fast. Don't look back," asterisk, he told himself. But as he stepped onto the bridge, he froze. 2 men leaned against the railing, watching him. One of them spoke into a phone, his eyes never leaving Arham. They were waiting for him. Arham's chest tightened. If I run now, they'll chase me. If I hand over the bag, I'm trapped again. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a side path leading down under the bridge. A sign pointed toward the bus station. His pulse quickened. This is my only chance. He turned suddenly and darted down the path. "Hey, where are you going?" one of the men shouted. Footsteps pounded behind him. Arham ran like his life depended on it, because it did. Arham's lungs burned as his feet pounded against the cracked pavement. Behind him, shouts echoed off the walls of the narrow alley beneath the bridge. "Stop him! one of the men yelled. Arham didn't look back. He couldn't. His entire body screamed at him to run faster, even though his legs felt like lead. Ahead, the path split in two, one leading to a dead end by the riverbank, the other sloping upward toward the bus station. Bus station? That's my way out. He veered left, nearly slipping on a patch of wet concrete. The sounds behind him grew louder. Heavy boots slammed against the ground. He's heading for the buses, one man shouted. Cut him off. Arham's mind raced. If they catch me, they'll kill me. Or worse. As he reached the edge of the station, Arham spotted a row of buses idling, their engines rumbling softly. The air smelled of diesel and fried snacks from nearby stalls. He darted toward the ticket counter. 1 ticket to Mekar village, he gasped, slamming down crumpled bills. The clerk barely glanced up. Next bus leaves in 5 minutes. I don't have 5 minutes, Arham cried. Suddenly, a hand clamped down on his shoulder. Arham's blood ran cold. He spun around to see one of the men from the bridge, the taller one, his face twisted in rage. You little rat, the man growled. Think you can steal from us? Arham's instincts took over. He slammed his elbow backward into the man's stomach and bolted. The man cursed and stumbled, but the second man was already closing in. Arham zigzagged between food carts and shouting vendors. A vendor's tray of samosas toppled, sending hot oil splattering across the pavement. People screamed. Chaos erupted. Get out of the way, the second man bellowed, shoving aside a rickshaw driver. At the far end of the station, Arham spotted an open bus door. If I can make it inside? He sprinted, his chest heaving. The bus driver stared at him in confusion. Wait, Arham shouted. Don't close the door. But just as he reached the steps, a hand grabbed the back of his shirt and yanked him backward. Arham fell hard onto the concrete, his breath knocked out of him. Thought you could run, huh? The first man sneered, towering over him. Arham struggled, kicking wildly. Let me go. I don't want your money. I don't want any of this. The man raised a fist. We're going to teach you what happens to little thieves. Hey, what's going on here? A sharp voice cut through the chaos. Arham and his pursuers grip of his pistol. The taller man's eyes flicked nervously between the officer and Arham. This isn't what it looks like, officer, the man said smoothly. Just settling a family matter. The officer's hand tightened on his weapon. Family matter? Then why's the boy screaming? Arham's mind raced. This was his chance. Help me, he cried out. They're trying to hurt me. Please. The officer's eyes narrowed. Let the boy go, he ordered. For a tense moment, no one moved. Then the taller man released his grip. Fine, he spat. He's not worth the trouble anyway. The two men melted into the crowd, disappearing as quickly as they had come. The officer knelt beside Arham. You okay, son? Arham nodded shakily, though his whole body was trembling. I just want to go home. The officer studied him for a moment, then said, Where's home? Mekar village. Come with me, the officer said. We'll get you on a safe bus. For the first time in weeks, Arham felt a tiny flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could still go back. The bus rattled along the dusty road, its windows streaked with dirt and the faint smell of diesel lingering in the air. Arham sat by the window, clutching the small cloth bag the police officer had given him. It held the few clothes he had left, a bottle of water, and his phone. But what weighed most heavily wasn't in the bag. It was the fear of facing his parents. As the green fields of Mekar village came into view, memories flooded back. His father's calloused hands planting mango trees, his mother's laughter as she spread dough on the wooden board. The smell of warm roti wafting through their small house. They must hate me now, Arham thought, his stomach twisting into knots. When the bus screeched to a halt at the village stop, Arham stepped down slowly, his legs trembling. The midday sun was hot on his back as he walked the narrow dirt path toward home. Chickens scurried across the road, and neighbors glanced at him curiously. One old man muttered, Isn't that the boy who ran away? Arham lowered his head and kept walking. As he reached the house, he saw his mother sitting on the charpai under the neem tree, sorting lentils. She looked up and froze. Arham? She whispered, as if afraid he was a mirage. Ami. His voice cracked. She jumped to her feet, her hands trembling. You came back. You came back to us. Before he could react, she wrapped her arms around him, pulling him close. Moments later, his father stepped out from the house, his brow furrowed. At first, he didn't say anything. He just stared at Arham. Then, in a low, tired voice, he said, "So the city didn't give you what you wanted?" Arham's throat tightened. "No, Baba," he said softly. "It gave me something else instead, a lesson." His father didn't reply, but Arham saw something soften in his eyes. "Come inside," he said at last. That evening, Arham sat on the floor of their small kitchen, eating warm roti and lentils. The food tasted better than any feast he'd imagined during his time in the city. After dinner, his father sat beside him and spoke quietly. "Do you understand now, son? There is no shortcut to success. You plant a seed, you water it, you wait for the tree to grow. That's the only way." Arham nodded, tears pricking his eyes. "I'm ready to start over, Baba. Even if it takes years." For the first time in a long time, he felt light again, as though a heavy burden had finally been lifted. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. But this time, Arham wasn't looking for easy. He was looking for real. The orchard was alive with the scent of ripe mangoes. Golden fruit hung heavy on the trees Arham and his father had tended all these years. The summer breeze carried with it the faint hum of bees and the distant laughter of children playing in the fields. Arham stood among the rows of trees, wiping the sweat from his brow as he inspected the fruit. His hands were rough now, calloused from years of labor, but he didn't mind. To him, these hands told the story of how far he had come. It had been 5 years since he ran away from the city, 5 years since he'd escaped the trap of easy money, returning home with nothing but shame and regret weighing on his shoulders. At first, the villagers didn't welcome him back. "That's the boy who ran away, isn't it?" they whispered. "His poor parents. They deserve better." But Arham didn't let their words break him. Day after day, he woke before dawn and worked alongside his father, plowing the earth, planting seeds, carrying water to the fields. He learned the patience of the land. The crops didn't grow overnight, just as he couldn't fix his mistakes overnight. But slowly, the fields began to flourish again. And so did he. One evening, as Arham and his father sat on the porch sipping tea, his father spoke quietly. "You've changed, Arham." Arham looked down, ashamed. "I had to, Baba. I wanted the fast road to success, but it almost destroyed me." His father nodded. "Fast roads often lead to deep pits. I'm glad you climbed out." As the seasons passed, people began to see Arham in a new light. The carpenter in the next village taught him how to mend broken furniture. Soon, Arham was repairing doors, fixing tables, and earning an honest wage. With the money he saved, he and his father expanded the orchard. The same villagers who once whispered behind his back now came to him for help. "Arham, can you fix our chair? Arham, can you help us harvest?" And every time he answered with a smile. Now, standing in the orchard, Arham felt a quiet pride swell in his chest. His younger brother ran up, holding a mango. "Pie, taste it. It's so sweet." Arham took the fruit, bit into its golden flesh, and let the juice drip down his chin. "It's sweeter than anything I've ever tasted," he said softly. As the truck pulled up to collect crates of mangoes for the market, Arham's mother came out to the yard, her face glowing with pride. "You've made us proud, Beta," she said. "We don't need riches. We only needed you back." His father clapped a firm hand on his shoulder. "This is your success, son. Not the kind you chased in the city, the kind you grew with your own hands." That night, as the stars sparkled above the quiet village, Arham sat under the neem tree, thinking about his journey. He remembered the city lights, the money in his hand, the fear in his heart, and he remembered the words his father had once said. "Success is like a tree. You plant the seed, water it every day, and wait. One day, it gives you fruit sweeter than you ever imagined." Now, he understood. Arham closed his eyes, listening to the rustling leaves above. He no longer wanted shortcuts. He no longer wanted instant success. He had found something far better: peace, purpose, and a life he could be proud of. And as he drifted to sleep, the orchard whispered its approval, the air filled with the promise of a new dawn.